Good morning, fourth graders. This is Miss Ferguson. It is Thursday, April 2nd, 2020. Our learning target today is I can identify and describe the results of the American Revolution. Some of the results of the Revolutionary War were, first of all, America's freedom from the rule of Great Britain, something called the Treaty of Paris that we're going to talk about, the Continental Congress, which should sound familiar because we've heard it mentioned, especially yesterday with some of our important leaders from the Revolution, the Declaration of Independence, and the U.S. Constitution. The Continental Congress. 13 men met at the Pennsylvania State Building, which is now called Independence Hall. Some of these men were great leaders like George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, Patrick Henry, John Adams, and John Hancock. Why do those names sound familiar? Where did we learn about those names before? The Continental Congress brought about many changes, so it caused many changes that aided or helped in gaining America's freedom. One of those things that they did was to create something called the Continental Army to protect against Britain's troops. George Washington was the general of that army. On July 4th, 1776, the Continental Congress published the Declaration of Independence, which announced the United States as an independent nation. A year later, on June 14th, now called Flag Day, they issued the first official United States flag. Bonus to you if you can look up and find out information about the first flag and who made it. The Declaration of Independence. We've talked about this many times, and we have looked at parts of it when we have been reading Divided Loyalties. So we close read some of the excerpts from it. Think about what the word excerpt means. The 13 American colonies had been at war with Britain for about a year when the Second Continental Congress met. At the meetings, they decided that it was time for the colonies to officially declare their independence. This meant that they were breaking away from British rule. This also meant they would have to fight for their freedom. On June 11th, 1776, the Continental Congress appointed 5 leaders, called the Committee of Five, to write a document explaining why they were declaring their independence. They had to explain why they were doing something, just like we have to explain why or provide our text evidence. The 5 members were Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, Robert Livingston, Roger Sherman, and Thomas Jefferson. It took Thomas Jefferson 17 days to write the first draft. What does it mean to write a draft? We talked about this before in ELA. If they said this was the first draft, what does that tell us about the process of writing the Declaration? After several rewrites, it was presented to Congress. So draft shows us it wasn't written in a day and published. There was a draft, and then they edited it and rewrote things, and then they were able to publish. On July 4th, 1776, Congress officially approved the final version of the Declaration of Independence. A copy of it was sent to King George III of Britain. The Declaration of Independence did more than just say that the colonies wanted their freedom. It listed all the things that Britain had forced on the colonists, like those high taxes, the unfair laws. It also showed that the colonists had rights that they were willing to stand up and fight for. Every year on July 4th, we still celebrate Independence Day. We often see waving our flag, fireworks, patriotic colors of red, white, and blue. So let's talk about some of your assignments today. First of all, you're going to use the slides that we just read, choose two of the results from the American Revolution, and describe their importance. Remember that you are using RAD. Secondly, you need to make sure that you are logging on to News ELA daily. You need to read today's article and take your quiz. Make sure that you're taking your time in your close reading. This is a graded assignment, and I can even see how long that you spend on each assignment. You should also be completing your daily packet work, including 35 minutes or more of reading and logging it. And make sure that your mom, dad, or whoever's taking care of you is signing and dating your packet work every day. That way, when you hand it in, we can check off that you have been participating in your lessons. I have been receiving some student work, but I've been receiving from mostly the same people. And I will say I'm very impressed. And I was planning again to show today, but I think tomorrow for our Friday lesson, I'm going to change it. And we are going to look at multiple examples of student work with no names. And we are going to use our checklist, just like we've been doing in RTI, to think about how we would score that assignment if it was something we were grading for an assessment. So we're going to look at the criteria on our checklist and we're going to apply it to the different assignments we read. Also, we'll get a chance to see the work that our peers have been doing and provide some feedback as well. So please make sure that you are sending your work via email. I had quite a few parents take a picture of handwritten work and message it. That is perfectly fine. However you want to do it. That way I can mark off that you've done it, but also that I can see it and I can share it with the rest of the class so that we can all benefit from everyone's hard work. News ELA automatically shows me what you've been doing, and I'm able to see your score and the time that you spent. So make sure that you're logging on every day. Tomorrow's Friday. You know what we're going to do next. It should be fun to take a look at everyone's different work. So make sure you send in any of today's work. And if there's any of their work that you're missing, send it today because I can still check it off. I hope you girls are doing well. You know how to reach me. Your parents have Dojo, my email, kferguson@brighterchoice.org. And I will be talking to some more people on the phone today. Hopefully, I will get to see you very soon. Stay healthy and do your best.